figured like if you were gonna ask about timelines, so I've been keeping this since I started.
When did you start? And like I said, when did you start jiu-jitsu?
My first class was January 5th of 2019.
2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
So John started about 6 months before I did. So he started in like the summer of 2018. And then he would come home and be like, let me show you this thing I learned. And then it was like a mount escape, or like he tried to show me like an arm bar. And it
yeah.
I'm just like imagining us in the basement of our old house. And he's like, and then you like kind of have to turn this way. I don't really remember, but like I know you had to put your leg somewhere. And it's like, this is weird, but okay. But I remember being able to like do a mount escape and like push him over. And I was like, oh, like this is kind of cool. All right. And then I know he was coming here, and I very purposely did an intro class at another gym because I was like, if they know you, I don't want to come in and be like, oh, that's John's wife. That's John's wife. Like I want to be my own person. But I tried an intro class at another gym, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I still want to also try like other places. So then I came here, and just everyone was like really, really great. So I was like, okay, yeah, fine, I'll go to the same place that you're going to. But like, I don't want to be like stuck to you all the time. And it was so funny because when we didn't have the regular intro class program where like someone meets you and like shows you around, it's like you just kind of show up. And then I almost ran away like Allison because I got here and it was just Ed in here doing yoga. And so I opened the door, and then he was doing yoga and the TV was on, and I was like, oh, nope, okay. I like closed the door and got back in my car, and he like chased after me. He's like, no, come on, it's okay. And I was like, no, okay, all right.
Got me.
And then like John wasn't here yet, so I was like, oh, okay, oh my gosh. And I couldn't tell you what happened after. I think I like blacked out. I don't remember.
Solid.
I just remember we were standing in the circle waiting for warm-ups, and John was on the opposite side and like was not acknowledging me really.
Yeah.
And so I was like, look, I know that we wanted to like be our own people, but like
I need you to be my person.
Yeah. I need you could pretend that you know me at least for this first
like,
class.
Wave at me, bro.
Right. No, but I wrote this down because I was like, if you were going to ask about timelines or things, it's so crazy how time flies. And I remember just seeing this when I first started of like, there was a picture online of someone's belt and they had written the dates on each stripe of like when they got that. And then I was like, that seems cool. I'm definitely gonna ruin that. It's like, let me write stuff down. So I just have a whole list that I've been keeping over the years of dates that things have happened and when we got promoted and stuff like that. So I was like, let me have this ready for whatever questions you
have you ever done like martial arts before jiu-jitsu?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Were you ever like did you ever like watch like kung fu movies and be like, oh, that looks cool? Like,
no, never.
So it was just John being like, hey, I'm doing this stuff over here, and you were like, yo, I'm gonna follow you. Let's do this.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let me give it a try. And then when I was able to do stuff, it felt like really cool. Of like, yeah, I knocked this man over.
yeah, solid.
Yeah, so it was like that of just being impressed with myself of like, wow, I'm pretty strong. Like, I got this. This is going pretty good.
Yeah, you kind of badass.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's the thing that people always say of like, it's a great workout, mind and body and all this stuff. And all of that is true.
Yeah.
And I will say, for the record, I think this is true for a lot of people, but they don't want to admit it. But I think that it's one of those things where it's like, you know, when you're like, get to know you kind of stuff. What do you do for fun? I do martial arts. I've been training Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for 6.5 years. Like, just the niche hobby.
Not gonna lie. Do the same thing. Oh, what do I do? You didn't even ask me that question. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, like, one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, this is just a big part of my life, this very niche thing that not many adults do.
And I'm actually pretty good. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, nope. So I know. I'll admit it on behalf of everyone. You know that it's true.
Yeah, you brag a little bit. Let them know. I do this thing that you might enjoy if you tried it, but I do it. I'm good at it. Proficient, if you will.
Yeah, so that like selfishly, it's like, yes, it's like very cool to say that I do it. And then it's like, okay, if I want to keep saying that I do, like, you can't quit now.
Yeah,
like,
solid.
If this is my thing that I do, like, I'm in it.
It keeps you accountable because you're like, yo, you can't go back and be like, oh, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. They're like, how was training? It's like, I have to tell them that my cool niche fun fact, I don't do it anymore.
Facts, you're not,
Couldn't
pride.
be.
Pride is too hot right there. No, I still do that.
Yeah.
I still do that. So was there a point where you were like, man, I am invested in jiu-jitsu? Like you did your first intro class and like obviously you signed up after that.
Mm-hmm.
What was that thing? Was there like a move? Was there a person that was just like, I'm invested?
Mm-hmm. I can't think of a specific time. Like there wasn't one specific instance. I would say it probably was kind of once John and I like took over the kids class, I guess. But I know Ed had gotten, I keep looking at you because you're right behind the camera. So Ed had hurt his knee and he was like, look guys, I'm having surgery. I'm gonna be out for a while. I really need help with the kids class, like while I'm gone. And I very specifically never wanted to help with the kids class. So like we would walk in, going back for adult class while the kids class was going on, and usually they were doing some kind of game and it was just like a lot of screeching. And so every time I'd walk in I'd be like, oh no, not for me. And then, but then no one stepped up, so it's like we can't just cancel class for all the kids. Like, here we go, John.
Here we go, John. Not just me. If I do this, we're doing this together.
Because at the time, my office was super close, and I knew that I could get off of work on time, and I knew that his schedule is very consistent, and that he could get off work on time. So I was like, all right,
this is us.
Here we go. We're gonna start doing that. And so it was, of course, awkward at first. We were there just helping, and you're kind of getting the feel of like interacting with kids because it's different helping an adult teammate versus like helping a youth teammate. And then we weren't like in charge, so we were just like assistants and helping. And then kind of once Ed was fully out and then John and I were like in charge, it was like, okay, here we go. We got a class that we teach and we're doing this. Here we go.
What was the scariest part about, what was the scariest part of just getting in there and teaching the kids class?
Yeah, I think it was just being able to make it relatable and like help kids understand, especially with like if kids don't necessarily like want to be doing it. Because for the adults, it's like, okay, I did my intro class. I want to do this. I'm paying you money to do this. So like, I'm here to see what's going on. But for the kids, sometimes it might be like, we just need to get into activities. We're trying something new. And so they might totally not be into it. So it's like,
that's fair.
What if I get there and all of the children hate it and don't want to listen to me? And here we are, like, what am I gonna do? But that really hasn't been the experience at all. So like,
so you've never had a kid come in and like, man, I don't want to do this, or I don't like this.
Oh, all the time. But it helps that we've had a consistent class, like a group of kids that have been here for years. Like basically they joined when John and I started helping.
When did you start Frequency? I love it.
Let me pull, that's why I wrote it all down.
Because this is the only place that you, like Frequency is the only place that you ever trained at?
Yeah, so I did an intro class at another gym, but then I came here and it's like just been here.
So then 2019 is when you started Frequency and when you started your jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah.
And when did you start the kids class, or when did you start helping with the kids class?
Yeah, so it was about like a year and a half later. So August 5th of 2020 was our first kids class that we that we did on our own, I think.
And that was like COVID, like almost like COVID, the start of COVID.
Yeah. No, it was
2020 was like all like the.
So that would have been. When did COVID happen? It happened in 2020.
2020, right? And you said it's in August, so it was like right after COVID kind of start, but it hadn't picked up to where like everything was shut down.
No, it would have been after.
After? It was after.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
We got the confirmation.
Battery change. Oh, let the viewers. We will be right back. We
need a battery change. So kids class in COVID.
Yes.
What was COVID like for kids class, for you, for your training? Let's start with you specifically. How was your training and lifestyle for jiu-jitsu during COVID?
So I'll go back to the kids part. I do not remember anything for like how like the kids class went. I think it was regular, fine. I really don't know. So going back, I have no answer for that question.
Solid.
For our jiu-jitsu, it was weird because, and I'm looking like back at my timeline of things. So I remember that year in 2020 was, I think, the first time that Ed was doing a race to 300 kind of thing. So it was kind of an attendance contest, and it was the first person to get to 300 hours. You get XYZ prize, and then everyone who gets here gets this and whatever.
Do you remember who won that year?
We didn't. So that was my goal. I was like, I am going there first. So I was going to 5 a.m. class and coming at night, most nights of the week. So I was like in it.
How many classes would you say at that time?
Oh my gosh.
Still the 15, 16 that we offer now, I think.
Oh, just overall, how many we offered?
Like a week.
It was about the same.
It's about the same?
So
Okay.
instead of just like a few nights a week, it was like, I'm going every single day, twice a day kind of thing is what my goal was. And then COVID hit, and then like we were kind of talking about, there was an open mat. They announced it on the TV of like, stay at home for 2 weeks. And then there's pictures on the wall of where like, it's a picture of the lesson plan, like the last lesson plan before COVID. And then we didn't have the big spray bottles of how we clean the mats now. We had smaller ones, and then like a bottle of bleach. And I was like, me holding the bleach of like, hey, we're cleaning the mats. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. But then that was it. So it was 2 weeks, like, hey, the gym's going to be closed. We're going to see what's going on. And then they announced another week closed and another week closed. And then, hey, everything's still shut down for another month. And then Ed was like, hey, so we're going to try and keep the gang together, like Zoom Jiu-Jitsu, like come join us. And it was
Zoom Jiu-Jitsu. Tell me that.
So sad, and not because of anything that Ed was doing. It was just like the whole situation in general of like, I was going twice a day and I was in it. And then now I'm doing like drills at home over Zoom. Like, this is so sad. Like, and there were so many times, like John and I bought mats. So we had mats out, and then at least for some of the drills, like we were able to do stuff together, but it's just not the same. It just wasn't the same. And so there's so many times that we had our Zoom Jiu-Jitsu class, there was like 6 of us, and then it would be like, okay, bye everyone. And then I would like start sobbing as soon as like everyone hung up. And then John's like, I know, it'll be okay. And it's like, but when will it be okay?
I can see you, because you're a social butterfly. You need that interaction.
That's like such a huge thing of like why it was so fun to come, because you get to see everyone and like chit chat and hang out, and we're yapping and like hanging out. And then it was just like at home, I can't go do anything. I can't go see anyone. I see people on Zoom, like Brianna's like in her driveway so she can get some sun. And it's just like, oh my gosh. This is so sad. So it was so different. And then when we were able to start opening things back up, you know, we had the stickers on the floor of staying apart, and we checked our temperature, and then there's only like 10 people that could come in at a time. So we had like zones on the mats like taped off.
Oh, like it's edged out, like this is your space.
Yeah. And I remember James had it set up one day where like he had the heavy bags out, because like we couldn't do stuff with partners yet, right? So like the heavy bags were out, so we were doing like knee on belly drills and other stuff. And then the shadow rolling, like,
no, I bet,
killed me. And it's a good mental exercise. Like, it's better than nothing, right? To be doing solo drills and stuff like that. And it's even helpful in addition to current stuff. But just like going from like Zoom, and then it's like we're still apart and not doing anything, and it's like, I don't know, I hate this. Like, it's so frustrating, but it's like, it's better than nothing, so I'm just gonna keep showing up. And then now, of course, we came through the other side and everything's fine, but it was like, Oof.
Oof is right.
Zoom jiu-jitsu.
When you guys like got through that COVID and everything and Zoom to all, and then getting back in the regular class, what was like the best part? And the reason I ask that is because sometimes it's you go from having no classes right in the beginning of the whole COVID thing, and then you're going to Zoom classes, and that's not, you know, getting that itch, right? And then you're going to classes where you're 6 feet apart, and it's not really getting that itch, and then going back to like that full contact, back to that the basis of what you really enjoy about it. What was it that you missed the most? Was it just the touch?
It was just like being able to be around people, like even how we're sitting now, like like everything was just so far away.
The connection.
So now it's like you're closer to everyone, and then
because I'm sure it was getting old just rolling with your husband.
As much as I love that, it's like because I also kind of right before that we were starting like doing women's only classes and stuff like that. So then it's like, man, we like just started this thing. It was gonna be so cool. And then like,
can we talk about that for a second? So the women's class, right?
Yeah.
What was it that why did you, because you started up the women's class, or was this, okay, why?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
In my mind, like if it wasn't for John, like coming home to be like, hey, let's try this thing. Like I was not a martial arts person. I was never like interested at all. The only thing that maybe would have potentially convinced me to maybe try it was like if there was like just a women's only kind of thing where it's like I already in general just don't like people in my space. So the fact that I do this as my main hobby is really crazy. But I was like, I don't want to be like that close to like strange dudes, and I don't want like to get hurt, and just like a bunch of things I was worried about. So it's like, well, maybe there's other women out there that like don't have their husband or their boyfriend or someone to come home and like show them stuff, who are, you know, maybe potentially interested, but they just need like a little more encouragement or something that would make them feel more comfortable. And I really liked teaching. I know even before that, it was crazy. Like we were we were like 2-stripe white belts, and Ed let us do a couples only class.
Nice.
John, and it was like, you know, other white belts mainly and their wives, but like they let us do this thing where it was basically the intro class moves of like a bridge and shrimp and a mount escape, and like we all kind of did it together. And I was like, well, dang, if they're gonna like let me start teaching stuff, like, hey, whenever you think I might be ready and the time's right, like this is something I would really love to have in the future. And he was totally supportive and on board. I was like, great, this is awesome. And then now we're at the point where we don't have like a large class. So that's something I do wish we had, is like, you know, more of a consistent larger women's only class. But I guess the plus side of that is like everyone just trains in the regular class. Like everyone is so comfortable with everyone else at the gym where it's like, hey, I'll just come to the regular class. Like I don't feel the need to only be around women, because I know that everyone on the mats is like a safe, normal person to train with. So it's like, okay. So
I don't want to make you like the spokesperson for women in jiu-jitsu, right?
I'll take it.
But I'll take that mantle, I guess. Why not? Fine. But can you kind of talk about like, what is it like being a woman in jiu-jitsu when it seems like it's like such a man-dominated martial art? Yeah,
at least for my experience, because I know, unfortunately, online you can like see and hear like horror stories of people having really bad experiences, and I'm so thankful that mine has always been the complete opposite. So there's never been anyone who's like made me feel uncomfortable or unsafe or anything like that. So I'm like so thankful for that. I would say probably the hardest part is like, as strong and fierce as like you think you are, like you're not all the time. Like, and so the instance that really sticks out in my mind is, you know, being partnered with someone and rolling with someone who was like smaller than me, but was significantly stronger still.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those things where you're like, ooh, yikes, this is, oh man, not great. Especially when you're first starting out. Like, even though I'm like a little over 6 years in, like now I feel like a bit more capable, but like definitely when I was first starting, it's like, man, I've been doing this for like a year. Why am I getting smushed? And like, why is this person still able to like hold me down? I hate, like, this isn't working. And it's like, you just need a lot more time compared. There's like some stats online of like for every like 10 pounds.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Like a year of training or whatever. I don't know how like accurate that is or how that figure was calculated, but like in general, I would agree of like the bigger someone is, like you probably need a significantly higher amount of training time to like be able to handle yourself. So that was like the hardest part to like get over and to deal with, of like knowing or realizing that like I'm not as strong as I think I am. Like even for like a man that's smaller than me, it's like, oof, this feels really bad and
that's
scary.
solid.
I hate it. But I think that's an even bigger reason to like keep training. And that's usually, now I'm going to get on my soapbox of like what I tell women that a lot of times will want to try an intro class or something like that for self-defense, is like, you have to keep doing it. Like you can't just go to an intro class, or like I know sometimes at Heartland or other places there'll be like a seminar or a workshop or something like that. So like, yeah, we can learn how to like break grips and do stuff like that, but if you practice it like one time for a 2-hour thing and then like you're not training and thinking about it and practicing it other times, like you're not going to have it when you need it.
So pretty much like consistency is key.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah, consistency is key. There's going to be days where like it's hard and you get smashed and you're like, why am I even doing this? This is terrible. But like, that's where the progress comes, is like the hard work and the consistency and just like doing it. Like I tell the kids, like, you know, because sometimes everyone likes to try and squeeze at the front.
Yeah, of course.
You know, to get up there at the front of the line with the higher ranks. But like, the only way you're going to get there is you keep coming, you keep working hard, you're listening, you're trying your best. Like that's it. There's no secrets.
Don't you hate when there's cliches like that and you're just like, I wish that they weren't true, but they're just so accurate and so apt to this.
And I was thinking about that the other day, because on Friday, the first day of the Mateus Machado workshop, I had such a terrible day at work, and like I got home and I like had been crying on the drive home from work, and then I got home and I was like, I just don't even want to go. Like I can't do this. I'm so drained. And then John's like, you'll feel better. And I was like, I know I will. Okay, just let me be upset for a minute.
Let me be sad for a minute, dude. Calm down.
And I was like, I have to like focus and get all my energy together to be there. But then of course, like as soon as it was all over and I like hung out and yapped with my friends and did jiu-jitsu, I did exercise, I got my endorphins, and I was totally fine. And it's like, sometimes when Ed will send out in the group me, like, have a great day, like, can't wait to see you on the mats tonight, like, it's time to invest in yourself, you got this. Like, I'll be at work and I'm like, okay, shut up.
Yeah. We didn't want to hear that this early, okay? Calm down.
It's like, he just got done with class. So he has his endorphins, he's feeling great. But it's like, ooh, he's so right, because I never regret coming. After every single time I do, I always feel better. And it's like, shut up, Ed.
Why you always gotta be right sometimes?
Yeah, no, but that's truly like the hardest part, is like you have to come in on days even when you don't want to, even when you had a bad day, even when you're not feeling it and you'd rather be doing something else. Like you just have to come. And that's why I'm so thankful that I did commit to like the kids class, because it's like there's so many nights where it's like, man, I really don't want to do this. Like I just want to go home. But it's like, I committed, like people are counting on me to be there, like especially now that we have a lot more teammates, like we need the coaches there to help. So it's like people are counting on me, but I gotta go, I gotta be there. And then sometimes I'll stay for adult class too afterwards, but like at the very least, like I'm still coming and doing something. And and getting that time in on the mats, even though I don't want to. I do never regret it.
So you touched on something that I think is really important. There's like people were so comfortable here that especially women, are comfortable rolling with whoever. You know, obviously you roll with people other than your husband, and it's sometimes men, sometimes it's women.
Yeah.
When you roll with men, again, I don't want to make you like the face of it, but is there ever a like, hey, roll like this, roll 50%? I don't know if I'm really asking the question right, but like in the sense of like, what's the most respectful way to roll with a female for like from a female's perspective?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I remember who the person was because I'm so bad at names, but it was like some jiu-jitsu person online, and it was someone asked them the question and they were like, think of it like just you're rolling with another teammate that's just like smaller than you potentially. So like if it was like a teenager, you wouldn't be like, man, I'm gonna wreck this kid. Like,
I guess it might depend on the kid. Yeah.
Some of the kids are getting like really good. It's kind of scary, but just kind of taking into account like the size and stuff like that. Like now's the time to work more of your technique of like, okay, can I still get my frames and my grips and not have to rely so much on the smashing to hold them there versus like my points of contact of how I'm like blocking the person from moving. So I think just thinking of it that way. But I also think that it takes a lot of time because like when you're first starting, like so much is going on.
100%.
And
You're trying to go, You're trying to win in the beginning.
Yeah. And just like, I think part of what I got for myself, at least over time, is like the speed and the finesse and the flow just comes with time of like learning the technique. Because you would see upper belts rolling and it's like, gosh, they're so smooth and they just keep going. And how are they moving like that? I don't know. So then in my mind, I was like, okay, I just gotta like step there faster.
Yeah. Solid. That is so solid. You gotta be there faster because if you're there faster, it looks smoother.
Yeah, and it's like, no, that's not what's happening. They just have more body control that they're doing. So I think that's part of it is like not even, it's not even malicious a lot of times. It's like, well, yeah, I gotta be fast. Like I'm in there, I'm moving, and it's like, you just don't realize how awkward you are until you do it longer and you're like, ooh, yeah, I don't know what I was doing there. That was not what I was trying to do.
If you could talk to white belt you, what would be some advice that you would give her?
Oh, man. Well, one, lose the headband. I know Ed was going to bring this up.
Oh, well, okay. Are you ever going to bring it back?
No.
Why not?
So and I'm sure this is where like Ed will insert a picture of like me with the headband and then me with crazy hair. But in my mind, playing team sports, I did volleyball, I did softball, and then like just working out as an adult. It's like, okay, like I put in a headband, keep my hair out of my face. And then there was this brand, I was like, sports headbands. I don't even know what it was, but then it's like, oh, people who do CrossFit have this brand that's like a fabric and it stays better. And it's like, perfect. Yeah, I'll try that. For just drilling and stuff, it works. But once you actually start rolling, and then I use my head a lot more than I used to of like pushing frames and getting under stuff, and like it never stayed on. It's just like, I don't even know. I tried. I was like, I'm exercising, keep my hair on my face, but like
you can upgrade to a swim cap.
I can't. I'm so vain. I can't. I know that they make the like wrestling hats to protect your ears and stuff, and they have caps that'll protect your hair, and it's like, I can't. I'd rather, I guess, let my hair break
Look
and rip out of
crazy.
my head.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't.
Love it.
Like mad props to everyone like who does that, and I'm sure that's way more beneficial than what I'm actually doing. But it's like I can't get on board with it.
Okay, so back to the original question, right? Is what? Yeah, I know, right? What would you tell white belt you? What advice would you give?
Just give it time and enjoy where you're at now. Because I think I was so much looking ahead to like, okay, I need to, like, if I can get that down and then I'll be better at that, and then I could start being better at this, and then I can, and then, and it's like, and then is like never gonna end. Like, interacting with more black belts, you know, who come visit, and then being at the Tampa camp, like, they are very open. They're like, I am still always learning something new, like, always. And of course, as a white belt, it's like, okay, like, you have to say that. And I'm always a student, like, okay, whatever. But like, truly, the way that the game and techniques are evolving year after year, like, there is always going to be something to learn. So like, you're never going to be at the point where you're going to learn it all. So like, just enjoy what you're doing here. Like, you're learning, you have an outlet, a hobby, you're meeting people, and you're doing stuff. Like, you just enjoy it. Like, you're never gonna, there's no end, right? So like, this is what it is, as long as you keep doing this. So like, chill. It's fine.
Relax, you'll be there, you'll get there.
Yeah.
So then my next question is in that time frame, so, you know, white belt April, the purple belt April, was there ever like a struggle? Was there a time where it's like, I don't really want to, like, I know you kind of touched on it, where it's like, I don't want to go, but you have commitments, so you do show.
Yeah.
But was there ever like a time where like you didn't want to go and you didn't go, and you had to kind of get back into that routine of going?
I would say there wasn't like a point of like taking an extended time off, but definitely like the blue belt blues is a thing, because I remember, because you kind of get to a point of, and I know there's like, this is like an actual scientific theory of like how you learn when it starts of like, everything is new and you don't know anything, and then it's like unconscious incompetence, and then you get to like I don't know, but basically like you get to the level of like where you think you know a bunch, but like you are not quite like what you think you are.
Solid,
like, so it was like, I kind of got to this weird point of like, you think you know a bunch of stuff, but your technique isn't quite there, of like, you are realizing all the stuff that you're doing wrong, and you're still struggling to like do it right. And so it was really hard to start recognizing my errors and still not being able to do anything about it. Because when you're a white belt, like, you're bad at everything. You're a white belt. Like, you are. Like, it's fun. Like, you're learning stuff, but like, you could see how much better you get, like, real fast. And then you're learning a lot, and you're not really seeing all the stuff that you're doing wrong. Because like, you know, you're with an upper belt, they're being supportive. So like, it's not going to be fun if it's like, turn your wrist this way and bring your elbow in, and then your knee actually goes here, and then keep your back straight, and then now your head goes this way. Like, there's hundreds and hundreds of things that like someone could point out, but it's like, nah, like, in general, you're going this way and you got back this way. Like, perfect. Like, so good. But then like, as you're getting higher and higher, like, for me at blue belt, it was like, I'm seeing all these things where it's like, oh man, I missed this. Okay, I missed this. Okay, now I have to do this. And then you like kind of remember moves, and then you're rolling, and then it's like, this isn't working. Like, I'm not thinking fast enough. And it's like just a big like mess of things, of like the perfect storm of like, this is terrible and this is not fun. But like, it is, but then it's like, it's really easy to be super hard on yourself. So that, it was just like, man, I don't know, like, this is super hard and I hate this so much. And then John's like, it's over eventually. Like,
it's only an hour. You know,
like, I don't know. It's just like, so it's literally, sometimes it was like one day at a time of like, okay, I'll go to kids class. Okay, and then tomorrow's gonna be both. Tomorrow's gonna be kids class and adults class, and I'm gonna stay for both. So like, there's weeks where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna come do kids class, and like, I need to go home and like shake it off and reset. Yeah, but that was probably the hardest part of like getting over that hump of like seeing everything you're doing wrong, but then not being good enough to like do anything about it.
Facts, no facts. And just like, yeah, I remember the first couple of months of doing jiu-jitsu, and like, I actually remember specifically I'd stayed for a night class and you were there, and I'm gonna be honest. I felt the same way. I looked at you and I thought, man, I'm gonna take her. Like this is gonna be my first win. You know? I'll be honest. And then we get on the mat, and it's like 5 minutes go by, and I'm like, so this sucked. This was not what I expected. And it's like you were. I think like the best part was that you were laughing through the roll, and you're like, you're not supposed to do that, ha ha ha, and you're just like, someone's like, ha 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 ha, it's very funny, ha, and James is like, all right, everybody rotate, and you're like, all right, you know, give him that high five and that knuckle, like, yeah, whatever, bro, I don't want to like you no more, you know, and it was just like, it was that experience of like, you're 100% right. It's like, if like what you were kind of tapping at was that sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail,
yeah.
Right, and it's like, especially in the beginning of your journey, you're kind of always the nail.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay, because for me at least, like one of the main reasons why I kept coming back was because people of like you that were like, hey, you were the nail this time, but like you did this really awesome. Like, and it was after class, right? Because I don't know, I don't have like a really great like cover face. So I feel like you kind of saw that he was like, this is the first time rolling with a woman, because like that was, right? Like there is a truth to that for me at least, where it was like, I had this preconception of like what it meant to roll with a girl. Like I'm supposed to win. I'm a man.
Yeah.
You know, and then to be like, I really gave it my all and I did not win. And I'm like, okay, this is a feeling that I'm not comfortable with. I got so humbled in that moment. And it was like, not only did I get humbled and I had to like really assess my own personal thoughts, I was able to learn from a phenomenal jiu-jitsu practitioner who like came up and was like, hey, by the way though, you did this really awesome. And it was like, oh, thanks. Thanks. I really didn't want to come back after class, but she said, yes, you're right. And I just, like, I really appreciate that you know, it's really nice to hear that even upper belts get that same feeling that like us white belts get, where it's like, man, sometimes it feels like day after day after day, or week after week after week, we're just the nail, you know, and it's like, you feel like you're just kind of like fodder for the upper belts. And so it's like, it's nice to hear that like, hey, this is how I felt when you were there too, and this will pass. Because there are times where you're like, man, I'm just trying to get through this hour. I'm just trying to get through this, through this moment. And, you know, it's like, it is really nice to be able to identify it in such a deep level that, like, you know, a white belt should be able to see. It's like, this is kind of who we were. There's something else, like, you know, we talk a lot about it. We talked a lot about it, but like John and you, like, you guys are married. You guys are a cute couple. How has jiu-jitsu helped, if at all, with like your marriage and your connection to each other?
Yeah, I think it's just nice having like a shared hobby that we both really enjoy. So we'll talk about just like positions and moves and like theories and like the nerd part of jiu-jitsu of like especially when we're like at a seminar or something like that. Like, well, what if like they sat back, like, but if you put your foot there, like, will that change how you do this or whatever? So like having someone to bounce that off of, especially like he gets this look on his face, and you know the show That's So Raven?
Yeah.
So like we'll be like eating or doing something, and then all of a sudden John will just be like, and then I'm like, hey, are you good? And
we're here.
He's like, sorry, I was rolling in my head. And he'll do that all the time, but it's like, so like his eyes get so big. And I'm just like, hello?
Are you all right? What's going on?
Yeah, but then he'll be like, what was happening? He's like, okay, well, like we started here, and then he'll kind of like talk through it. So he's so good at like, he'll see something once on Instagram or see it in a match, and he'll be like, oh yeah, and then just like recall it.
Makes sense,
like,
Dan.
I don't know, and he'll just be like, yeah, like the arm's here, and then when you step over and like roll over, and it's like, I need to see what you're talking about because this makes no sense to me. So like kind of like being forced to like think about it more of like, okay, I think I got it. I
have a side question.
Yes.
One of your students asked, if you and Coach John were to compete against each other, who would win?
Come to the in-house tournament on the 19th and find out.
Ooh!
No, well, at least the last time we did the in-house tournament, I lost. But I did get some good escapes here and there. It really is, depending on the day, like it can be 50-50. And this is what I struggle with a lot of times I think like being a woman of like, were they actually like really giving it their all, or were they like taking it easy on me a little bit? Because sometimes like he'll do the thing where it's like, hey, you did that really good, and I'm like, shut up. So like,
don't patronize me.
Yeah. But like he is sincere. He's like, no, that was really good, and it's like, okay, thank you, whatever. Like it means more coming from other people, because I think you're lying because you have to be nice to me.
You're married to me.
Yeah. So but I think it really depends on the day, because I know I've caught him in stuff. I think he usually catches me off guard because he likes to do the weird
inversions
things.
and all the things.
Yeah, when he's like flipping around, and he just, for like someone of his size and stature, like you just don't expect him to be
agreed
flipping around like that, and it's like, where are you? What is happening?
Slow down, buddy. We're trying to pay attention.
Yeah, so he is real good at like catching people off guard, especially me, like catching me off guard with stuff. So I really think it depends. But yeah, usually we're like pretty even. Probably he has the advantage, but I don't know. I'm getting pretty good.
I got my money on you. I've gone against you. I've gone against your husband too. I got my money on you. In your personal life, is there a time where like jiu-jitsu has just kind of helped you get through something with it, you know, and whatever you want, but like some, you know, is there anything like a passing of an animal or a friend that like, or just something hard in life where it was like you felt like without jiu-jitsu it might have been very difficult for you to get through?
I think just in general, like with aging as a woman, and like, of course, you know, aging is hard for everyone. You're like coming face to face with your mortality, and like maybe you're not really like looking in physique wise like how you once did, or how you like ideally would look. So I really struggled with that like in college and like through young adulthood, because I was always an athlete in high school, and you know, you're just on a schedule of like, I'm always playing, I'm always doing stuff, like I'm busy, I'm looking good, like I'm fit. And then in college, I didn't play any sports. So, and I didn't have like this, here's tournaments, here's practices, here's whatever. So then it was kind of like this transition of like super busy and active, not really being busy and active. And then like, you're also still growing and developing, like you're not an adult yet, like you're still getting there. And so like with your body changing and stuff like that, I really had a hard time with like body image and just like treating myself kindly. And so just over the years, jiu-jitsu has really made me appreciate like what I'm capable of doing. And it doesn't always necessarily, like the aesthetics part of it, like doesn't really matter. Like I used to want to be like so thin, like I want to be tiny and like disappear and like be the smallest size, and it's like, well, I can't like hold this dude down if I'm like very tiny and like little. So like I want to be big, like I want to be strong, I want to be big, I want to be like sturdy. Like that's always like my joke of like in my genes, like I'm born to survive a famine and a tough winter. Like I'm built for a tough winter. And, like, so like just like I'm built to be tough. And I remember like one day John was like, I don't know how to say this to you, but like you were really heavy. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. He's like your pressure.
One of the
he's
best
like,
compliments.
He's like, your pressure was like really bad to be under. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. But like, I wouldn't, like, if you would have told me when I was 19, like, hey, you're gonna be like several sizes larger than you are now, and you're gonna be like very pleased with it, I would have been like, no, not me.
Solid, yeah.
Yeah. So just like having that over the years of like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. And it like puts life into perspective of like, this like is not a big deal. Like I know like jiu-jitsu could be serious and work is serious. And like, yeah, I think just after like COVID and like everything going on in the world, it's like, there's so much going on. I have bigger things to worry about. Like I know, and I'm just gonna, one day at a time, life is fine. Enjoy what's here now. Like, this
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be. It doesn't matter.
Solid.
Yeah.
and you didn't have that thought process when you first started jiu-jitsu? It came after? Or do you feel like you kind of were building on to that, and like jiu-jitsu really kind of took it to the next level?
Yeah, I think like it kind of started with like I was getting back into working out again, and so I was really into like bar, Pilates, yoga, like cycling. So I was like getting back into being active, and it was like, like I'm not looking how I want, but like I can tell I'm feeling stronger. Like I can tell my cardio is better, stuff like that. And then jiu-jitsu kind of like really built off of it. And I think like just like accelerated it massively of like, yeah, like I don't want to be small for like this sport that I'm doing. Granted, like, of course, if you are small, like you could still do the sport and be great and have a great time and everything. Obviously, like we have a lot of black belts that are like tiny,
little,
and they will kill you. But like just for my own thing, it's like I'm not built like that. Like I'm happy to be built how I am, and like that's the thing with so many techniques and stuff like that. Of like I can't do like this move very well because of like my shape and maybe my partner's shape, but like I'm really, really good at these other things. Like just I'm thinking about like the tall, lanky people like shooting for triangles, way harder for me, but like I got good hips and a low center of gravity. So like when I hunker down and turtle, like I'm gonna stay there for a while, and you're gonna have a real hard time lifting me up out of there. So just things like that where it's like, yeah, no, like my body's awesome because like look at all the cool things it can do. So that for me has been like a big part of jiu-jitsu and like why I really like it, because it can be for everyone. Like you can modify so many things for your body, and you have to, especially because you're rolling with different people. So like something that I like go for all the time on like one person, like, okay, all of a sudden now it's not working on here. So like I have to adapt and like learn other stuff. So it's just like always a constant, like you're always learning new stuff and trying new things always. So
I'm gonna ask a question for me, because you say that and it's like, I didn't actually realize until you said it that I struggle with that like, hey, you know what, like my body, like my shape, like my flexibility might not allow me to do this move, and then I kind of like eat it myself, like, man, I should be able to do this, or I need to do more of this to do this, because I need to be able to do this move just like this. Was there, like, how did you get to that point of like realizing that, you know what, like this is okay, or this is how I modify it? Like, was like, I always want to ask, like, was there a point or was there a time? And I know that that's hard. So like, is there, I don't know how to ask that question.
Yeah, like what kind of helped with that?
Yeah.
I would say like a shout out to Jeff Mitchell. Hey Jeff. But I know he kind of says it like in jest of like when he's teaching, but he's like, yeah, I don't do it like that because my knee doesn't go that way, or like it. And so just hearing from like him and other instructors of like, that doesn't really work for me because like I can't reach there, or like I can't bend back like that, or like I have this injury, so like this is what I do instead. It's just like, oh, like they can't do everything that like is out there in the world, and they modify, and they're like, oh, that's not my game. I just like don't do that very much. It's like, oh, so I don't like have to be good at everything and like do every single technique in every position. Like, okay. And it's hard when you're first, because this like always killed me when I first started, of like, yeah, like you just develop your game, like do your game. And it's like, what game? What am I don't know what I want to do. But I would say it wasn't until like maybe the past couple years of where I started to be more of like, oh, okay, I find myself here a lot, or like I tried this and I've like really liked it recently. So don't fret if you've only been doing it for a couple years and you're like, I don't have a game. I don't know. My game is to just like try and not tap. I don't know. It's like that was my game for a while. It's like, let me see if I could just like not tap. I'll just do that.
Let me just defend them. As long as I don't get tapped.
Pretty much. Oh my gosh, it was like defending forever, and then it probably wasn't until like I was a green belt that I like actually submitted someone like for real, like not during drilling. Like during an actual roll. So like it just takes time. Some people, we're all on different timelines, and that's always such a hard thing, especially like when Instagram is like the killer of dreams, because you know, you follow a bunch of jiu-jitsu people of like, I'm doing the sport now, I want to follow people in the sport, and then you know, it's like all these people that are competing and getting all these medals, and it's like, they are so good. Like, I don't know how we're the same belt, because like they are so good. I don't understand, but like it doesn't matter what they do like at their school. Like, love your techniques. I love like picking stuff up and learning things, but like it's just me against myself and time, and like we're in it for the long haul. We're just gonna keep showing up. We're gonna focus on ourselves, and like that's, if like when you said when we rolled one day, and it's just like, I don't know when we did that, because like I'm always just like thinking about like, what am I doing, like what can I get better at, like that. So like hearing the third person perspective of that, it's like, oh my gosh, that happened. I had no idea you felt that way, because I'm only thinking about me.
It's only talking about me the whole time, but it's fine. It's fine. Good for you. Yeah, I love that.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny to hear.
That's funny. So getting back to like teaching and because it sounds to me like teaching has really been a big part of your jiu-jitsu journey, because you said that you like kind of started like couples jiu-jitsu and like and so for those that like have a partner that might be interested in doing jiu-jitsu, you know, is there, I know we kind of touched on it, but I would really like to get a little bit more in depth of like, what was like the weirdest thing or the hardest thing to like get over for you?
Just interacting with different people.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I have a very like large space bubble. And then when you show up somewhere, everyone's a stranger, right? So it's like, when I first started, clung to John. And then, you know, eventually it's like, okay, white belts go with an upper belt. So then immediately like Brianna, I was like, girl, hey, be my partner. And so like anytime she was around, like I would cling to her, and then she pushed me out of the nest. She's like, hey, I love training with you, but like you really need to like start training with other people too. And I was like, okay. Yes, okay. I understand. And then like it was just kind of like whatever, like upper belt, like, and of course everyone was totally normal and fine and helpful and great, but it was like just getting over the fear of like, oh, I have to talk to someone new and like let them into my space, and I hate this so much. Like it's such an uncomfortable thing, especially as an adult, like trying something new, and I'm gonna be bad at it, and the stranger is gonna be in my personal space. It's like a perfect storm of
trifecta.
Like, this is all terrible things. Like, I don't know. It's crazy that people like sign up to do this, because it's like all of the hard, awful things of like doing something new and interacting with strangers, and then like you just got to get over it and start doing it. Yeah, that's it. And I know it's not good advice, but it's like I promise, like you'll get to the other side of it. You just have to do it until it's not uncomfortable anymore.
That sounds so solid. But I mean, I will say, like, just for me, like, I agree with that.
Because it took you like 3 years, right?
To even get through the door.
Yeah.
To even get through the door. Yeah. Because like I had, you know, and I think that's for a lot of people, like sometimes it's pride, but sometimes it is fear of like, you know, you get like people put their hands accidentally, not intentionally, in weird places. And so like it's that feeling of like, oh, did you mean to touch me there? Was that an accident? Or because I gotten in my own head sometimes, and it's like, I'm a guy rolling with another guy. Not that that's a thing, but just saying, like, it's like, oh, that's weird. Like, did you mean to do that?
You're trying to get hooks, and then like, you kick someone, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my, I didn't mean to. Yeah. Or like, you know, how many times have like you accidentally need somebody in the jaw, or you know, like,
oh my gosh, Doug. Hey Doug, if you're out there. I was still a white belt, and then we were doing something, but like I was doing a guard pass, right? So I'm like coming over with a staple over his leg, and like that was his bad knee, and like I went over, and I don't know if it was like, if I was on his knee or if it like just going over made his knee feel bad, but like I went over and he was like, oh, and then like, he was like, no, you're good. It's like, it's just my knee, like whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. And then like when we were in the car, like I started sobbing. I was like, John, I can't go back. I hurt his knee. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I did so bad. Like, and I hurt his knee. I fell out. I don't know. And he's like, I know. I'm sure it's fine. Like, I'm sure. And he's like so great. Even if he didn't believe it, like, he's always great at reassuring me. Like, even if he's lying, like, I don't know.
You don't know.
It's fine. I'll take whatever I could get. Like, even if he's also in agreement and freaked out, like he won't poker face. You can't tell.
Love that.
That's like great because I'm freaking out, so I need
somebody
not
to stop
freak
it.
out. Yeah. So and he's like, it'll be fine, and of course it's fine, and like I still see Doug, and it's fine. As far as I know, he's not like holding a grudge about it. If he is, he's good at hiding it. Like
he's good at lying too.
Yeah, but it's just like one of those things where it's like, like it just happens when you're doing a contact sport. So everyone is so used to it. And like I said before, like every time I'm drilling and rolling, I'm thinking so much about myself. Like I won't remember if like someone's foot does something weird or like, because I know like I think about it so much about me. Like, I know that the other person is thinking so much about them. Like, everyone is so worried about themselves. Like,
that is fair. That is fair.
I promise nobody's
thinking about you.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, God. And then he turned his wrist weird. It was such a dumb grip. Like, I promise no one remembers except you.
Except you. You're the one that's sitting there thinking about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So teaching was a very big part of your jiu-jitsu journey. What is like, give me like one or two things, like one or two scenarios where like you felt like just you're in the right spot, you're doing the right thing, teaching wise. Like what was that like? I think I'm good at this moment.
Some of the questions that the kids ask, like when it's something that I've like genuinely like never considered before, and I wish I could think of one, but it's something like we'd be doing a trip or a takedown, and it's like, what would happen if they put their arm this way and did this instead? It's like, I am not sure. Let's think about it. And then like I'll have John like go through the move with me again, and it's like, well, like based on this, like, I feel kind of off balance when I do it, so I probably wouldn't do it, but like, give it a try, and like maybe that'll work for you. Like there's realizing that there's not a lot of like wrong answers in jiu-jitsu. Is like the greatest and the worst, because it's like when you're starting, you're like looking for the black and white, but then it's like everything is gray, and then it's like, how do I get out of this? Don't get there. What about this? It depends. And like it really does. Like that is the answer for everything. Like it depends. But just like hearing those questions of realizing like, oh my gosh, you are remembering what I'm teaching and you are analyzing and thinking about it. Like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. And then just like getting feedback from the parents sometimes of like, we'll do a class and then they're like, thank you so much. Like the other day they came home and they were saying they had like such a good time and like they're so excited for your class. And it's like, me? Going for me to teach? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So like, it's just like getting that feedback. And then when a kid like remembers something, because there's sometimes where we'll be doing like warm-ups, especially like the first class, and like sometimes the first week is hard. Like sometimes there's tears and it's like, this is a lot and I'm really freaked out. And then like within a couple months they're like laughing and doing the moves, and then they're like, it's the chicken wing trip, and they like are watching the videos, and it's like, oh my gosh, you like this, you're doing this is so great. So I just love just like those little things of like not even like doing the move like 100% correct. It's just like the progress of like you're remembering, like you're demonstrating, you're participating, like this is so great.
And you've been teaching for 4.5, 5 years? No.
Since 2020. So whatever that is
That's
now, like
2025. So 5 years?
5.5 years. Yeah.
5.5 years.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Is it weird to like when you put it in a time frame like that? Like
Yes.
5.5 years. And you taught kids class, you taught couples class, you also teach the women's class. Oh wait, I can't miss this. A couple of the kids have asked, which kid is your favorite?
All of you.
Whoo, that is
you are my
such
favorite.
a fact.
Everyone who comes to class and listens and tries their best, all my favorites.
Good answer.
It's true that everyone, like truly, everyone is so great.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is such a mom answer, right? Like you don't answer like when a kid comes up and they're like which one is your favorite? Like my son asks me that all the time. Like, Dad, which one of us is your favorite? I'm like, well, the one that's actually following the rules at the moment is the one that's my favorite. Like if you're following the rules right now, like you're my favorite.
Whoever's listening.
Yeah. Like, well, me and Sophia are doing it. You guys both are my favorite. I don't know. So like I love that because that's what it, you know. It's, There's so hard to pick one kid who's like, oh, well, you're the guy, you're the person, you're the girl. I love it. The other question is, what is your favorite jiu-jitsu move? Whether it's a submission or a technique or sweep pass.
My favorite move. I really love just about anything from like spider guard and lasso.
Okay.
So it's where you have like double sleeve grips and then your feet are in the person's arms. And I remember the first time someone did that to me, and you just feel so discombobulated because like you're off balance all of a sudden, and it's like, you have both my arms. What is happening? Like you don't know, and all of a sudden you're like going over, and you're like, what's going on?
No, that's a fact because you've done that to me, and then I asked you because I was stuck, and then I was like, well, how do I get past it? And then you took like, I don't know, 10 minutes to show me.
Yeah,
So, that's a fact.
I just love it. Especially when you do it on someone new, and like the look on someone's face all of a sudden where they're like, whoa, okay. I'm not sure about this.
Good to know.
Yeah, I love that one.
Do you have a favorite submission?
I really like Kimuras, because I just love the Kimura trap, like just as a position in general. And then it's like, once you have that, there's so many other options you could move to from there. So I really love that. But it's just like, I have the things I like, and it's so crazy because I feel like I haven't like focused on it in a while, because like you get to the point, it's like, man, I really like this, and you do it for a while, and then it's like, I got to do something else because I am neglecting all of these other things. So like I haven't, like I keep telling myself like, okay, I need to work on like keeping control like this, and like I was thinking about like no-gi and leg attacks. It's like, oh my gosh, I have so much that I need to figure out with those. So it like gets over, this is like the part where it gets overwhelming, where it's like, oh my gosh, I have so much to learn. I am never going to remember anything. Oh my gosh. And it's like, you have time. You're never going to remember everything. It's just, that's the journey, is like doing new stuff. So it's like, okay, well, eventually I'll get there.
Do you still get in like an uncomfortable positions, or is there still like that moment where you're like, oh, I don't know what to do?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah,
like literally on yesterday, when Mateus was here, we did flow rolling, but a little bit differently, where like one person basically from a guard pull through like submission. So you're going to pull guard, you're going to do sweep, you're going to get a dominant position, and then you're going to do a submission. And then the other person is just going to like let you do that, and then you switch. So it's like, you're starting, and then Aaron didn't move how I was like expecting him to. And then like, we're not actually rolling. So he's not fighting back. So he's like waiting there for me to do something. And then like my brain short circuited. And it's like, okay, well, we'll go here. We'll go this way. I don't understand.
But try this out. See this fix it.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, you could tell that you've gotten better, but then there's still times where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever played like baseball?
Baseball? Yeah.
So it makes me think of like, at least when I played softball, I was a catcher. And so like when you're first doing it, like okay, the ball's coming at you fast. Like, ooh, I don't know. But then like, as you do it more and more, and the pitcher is learning different pitches, like you learn to read where the ball is going, because like, it's like the ball slows down for you and you can like see where the seams are going. So like I could see it's going this way, so I know it's going to end up here. So like that's the best description I could have for it. Like if you've ever played baseball or softball, like you could just, like everything slows down and you could start to see the seams of like where it's going. So like it gets like that of like, okay, well I've been here before. I know your leg's going to go that way, so I'm just going to go this way. And then it's like, how did you get there? And it's like, I just knew you were going to put your leg up. Yeah. And so I went the other way. Like I've just seen it a bunch of times.
And I knew this is how it was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just gets like that where everything kind of like slows down. Yeah.
Teaching kids class, teaching women's class, how has that improved your own jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it has in like so many ways. I think the biggest way is that, especially with the kids, and you guys are great. You're all very wonderful, and I love you so much. But you know, because kids are still learning, and you're still literally getting like your muscle control and your gross motor skills. Like seeing a move done really badly helps you kind of flip it of like, okay, so you can't do it like that because it's not working. So here's the adjustments that we're going to make. So you start to see of like, you know, kids are having problems with something and it's like, how did we end up here? Like, how are you still up? And then it's like, okay, that knee's too wide. You're not pulling on the sleeve enough. You need to be up a little bit more. So like you start to see those little things of like, because you're trying to help them do it. And it's like, hey, so like for this, that's a super good base. For this one, like you're going to be just a little bit higher up. And just like you see all those little things. And then when we first started doing the kids class, there was another, like basically like a YouTube series of like another coach that would post basically a bunch of like kids class techniques. So just how we film it, they filmed it like for their kids class and they just like had it out for everyone. And then I think they stopped doing that, or like we wanted to add something additional. I don't remember like how we got there, but then it was like, man, okay, I get to pick the lesson plan. So then it was like, okay, what are people struggling with? We'll add that in there. And then it's like, what do I want to work on? So like I specifically will add a lot more like trips and takedowns and stuff like that, because it's like I have to think about it and I have to know how and why it works, because I have to explain how and why it's working, but I don't have to fall down a bunch of times. So like, like that's like really, it's like, okay, what do I want to try that I also think like, you know, a 5-year-old could handle. So just being able to pick the moves that I want to like practice and work on has really helped a bunch as well. Because you have to, it's not just like, oh yeah, let me try this thing on Instagram. It's like, they're going to ask me like, why are you grabbing that? Why are they doing that? Why does your foot go there? It's like, okay, I got to know why. Like, I got to be ready to know why everything is happening the way that it's happening.
So you like, I think it's the third Saturday, right? You have kids from like kids class that are almost transitioning into adult class. Second Saturday. Is it almost like a prideful moment when you see these kids, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Talk about that.
Yes. So seeing some of the older kids and the kids that have been training for years, like, and I'll see pictures up there and I'm like, man, was that when you started? And they're like, yeah, like 3 years ago. And I'm like, 3 years ago? What grade are you in now? Like what's, and then especially when we line up for pictures and then like some of like when the taller kids or the older kids are standing and it's like, I turn and like the top of their head is like eye level and it's like, oh my gosh, when did you get so tall? Like what?
When did you grow up?
Yeah, what is happening? And then like see, just like watching them roll with people and like, it's like, man, like you were getting so good. Like I can't.
And you are a big part of their journey of growth.
That is so weird to think about.
Yeah.
Me and John were talking about it because it's like, we think of like our coaches when we were doing sports and it's like, yeah, coach whatever, coach so-and-so. And then it's like a weird, like meta moment of like, they're going to be like, yeah, Coach April and Coach John. And it's like, am I a role model?
Did it confuse? Like, kids look up to me.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh. Like and then you think of like Spider-Man or whatever. It's like, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
But like, it's so true of like, I tell the kids of like, you know, we're not just trying to make you good at jiu-jitsu. Like, we're trying to make you good adults. And like, I think of like, you know, if you're going to be my coworker one day, or like when I'm in a nursing home and you're my doctor, like I can't have you like using ChatGPT for your homework or like not listening. And like so we got to get it together. Like we're going to listen, we're going to work hard, and you're going to follow instructions and pay attention and be safe with everyone. And like, so it's just like what I think of like, if you're going to be my doctor one day, or like you're going to be like, I need you to, we're going to be up here. Like you're going to be ready to be an adult, because it is true. Like there's so many times as an adult where like you're in a meeting and you don't want to pay attention, but like you need to really look like you're paying attention, and you have a project you don't want to do, and that's too bad. You need to do it anyway. Like it's going to be hard and it's going to be uncomfortable, and that's life. So like we're dealing with it here, so you get a taste of it, so you're better prepared to handle it when you're out in the world.
What do you feel like kids gain? Like if you could name 3 things, what are 3 things that kids gain from doing jiu-jitsu?
I think self-confidence is probably the biggest one, because there's been so many times where like doing line drills, like cannot, like a shrimp is so hard, or like someone's trying to do something and they keep losing their balance, or they're falling, and you can just tell they're so frustrated. And like, of course they're like, I don't want to do this is too hard. But then like, sure enough, a couple weeks later, it's like, look at you, and I'll tell them like, do you remember when you first started and you tried to do this and you fell over every single time? And then they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, and you just did it all the way down the mat, like every time, like you landed on your feet. And they're like, yeah. It's like, yeah, you did it. Yeah. Like that's the biggest thing of being able to go from like, I can't do it, it's too hard, I don't know, and then like, no big deal. Like, yeah, a bridge and a shrimp, that's a line drill. Like, whatever. Yeah, no, that's a big one. And then, like, granted, this is the only time I'm around kids, really, right? Is like kids class, but then, like, I guess hearing in general of like kids in the world, like iPad kids and like being distracted and stuff like that, like making yourself like focus for like an hour, 45 minutes of like, no, like we're not on a screen. We don't have stuff in the background. Like this is just what we're doing. And like, if you get bored or you zone out, like, then you have to deal with it while we're here. You're practicing being bored, because you're going to be bored potentially a lot of times in your life. You know, we try to make class not boring, but you know, there's times I'm yapping, you know, I'm showing the moves, and it's like, you could tell when like we've been sitting there a little too long, because like the eyes start to glaze over. It's like, all right, let's go. Moving. But like having to just not be in front of a screen or like doing something. And then I would say like the discipline part as well. And I am so thankful that like I haven't had to do like a lot of like disciplining, but I think that's part of like the really great culture that the kids set, like especially the older teammates that have been training for a while, because it's like, yeah, we don't run into the walls. Like we keep our hands to ourselves. We don't talk when a coach is talking. And like, it'll become very obvious, especially like when a new person joins and like, you know, is kind of getting used to the fit, and like they're talking out of turn or like doing something, like the other kids will be like, hey, like don't run into the wall. Like we don't do that. Like, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is great. So like having like that interaction with other kids of like, it's hard to explain.
Well, you've created a community.
Yeah.
And that community is one that people look out for one another and teach each other.
Yeah. So like getting used to that, because I feel like even as adults, that's like such an important skill to have of like you're entering a new workplace or you're, you know, doing something else. And so sometimes maybe potentially the first time that a kid is having that experience of like entering a community of like the community is like setting its standards of like, hey, we don't act like that, or like, hey, we don't do that, and being like, oh, okay, so like this is what it feels like and it looks like to do that, like, and not have it come from an adult necessarily. Those are probably like the three big ones.
Okay. And is it weird to think you are that focal point of this community, like that you're the one that kind of sets that standard and that expectation?
It's so weird.
Is it?
So weird.
Talk about that. Why is that weird?
I don't know, because I guess you don't really think of yourself in that way. Like you don't really like identify as a coach until you are just in it and doing it.
Okay.
And then it's like, thank you, coach. Hey, coach, excuse me. And then it's like, who, me? You're trying to...
So it's almost like I'm an adult doing it?
Yeah. You're like, hey, Coach April. And it's like, Coach April. And especially, I think the weirdest part was like when Ed started referring to me as Coach April. And then it's like, yep, and then Coach April will be here. And I'm like, Coach April? That's me? Coach April? Okay. Oh my God.
Like I'm the adult in here all of a sudden?
Yeah. And like it's gotten, I guess, more normal over the years, but especially like when being referred to like to the adults, where it's like, and then when Coach April says blah, 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 and it's like, when I say something, why are you worried about what I say? I don't know. It's like, that was like the biggest like weird thing to get over, of like seeing myself in this new
role,
new identity of like, you're a coach, like you like start from the bottom, now we're here. Like,
I love that. Start from the bottom, now we're here.
Because that's kind of like, it just, it happens like so slowly over time, where like, and then you look back and you're like, oh, that was crazy. Like John and I were talking the other day, and it's like, he's like, how long have we been a purple belt? And it's like, well, let me pull up my thing. Since December 2022. And he's like, 2022? And I was like, didn't we get our purple belts last year? Like, what? It's been that long? I don't know. This is kind of crazy. It's snuck up. So that's, just like growing and evolving like into that.
We're going to have to do a part 2.
Yeah.
Okay. But before we have to separate, I would like to ask 2 questions.
Sure.
One is, you know, when is the women's class? I think that's important for people to know. When is the women's class?
Mondays at 6:30 p.m.
I like how you just like look to the camera, like Mondays, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. And how is that different from every other class?
I usually like to do something that's different than the main lesson plan.
Okay.
Because a lot of us, well, all of us do train in the regular classes. I want to do something different. So it'll vary. Like sometimes I'll ask like, hey, what do you guys want to go over? Like any positions or things like that. And then sometimes we'll do like requests. Other times it'll be like, again, like something that I saw that I want to work on. It's like, hey, I'm thinking of this thing. And then sometimes maybe if someone's been gone for a while, it's like, hey, I'm just getting back into it. Can we like kind of ease into it, do more like drills and like line drills, solo drills. Like I'm really just trying to like get my groove back kind of thing. And then sometimes we just roll. So it really depends.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, like it kind of sounds like you cater to the needs of the women that come here.
That's
like,
my goal.
That is so dope. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, we have so many classes and so many teachers that do the same thing, some coaches. And it's like, but to hear that, especially for like women that have never done jiu-jitsu or any martial art for that matter, to be able to come in and say like, hey, listen, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little uncomfortable. And I know that I feel comfortable saying that to you, but I also have known you for a little bit. But to see that being displayed in the women's class, and I'm sure that others have seen that, where it's like, hey, like you said, we're gonna do this today, or can we do this today? Like this not too often, unless it's like a Q&A week where it's like you get to be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, can we go over this? You know, like what a great opportunity that benefits, you know, so many people, but specifically like the women of this community, you know, like So the next question is very similar to coaching the kids class. How does it feel to kind of be admired and respected by the peers of women that come here?
I never thought about it like that.
I've never seen her quiet.
No,
before.
like if I don't want to say well, if people feel that way, because it's one of those
People
things where it's just honored and humble. You're never gonna, it's one of those things where you're not gonna get people to do the sport if you don't bring them in and pull them up with you. So it's it's weird to me to not do that. I know, you'll see on the BJJ subreddits of there's this clique and they don't talk to me and whatever. And it's what? That is so strange to me. What? We're adults, all doing this thing together. Why would I not be excited for you? Why would I not want you to come do this thing with us that I love so much? Of course I'm going to show you how we do that. So just it's, to not be like that is just so foreign to think about. So it's just it's oh, you don't need to look up to me. That's how it's supposed to be,
You're so funny. You don't take compliments well.
I don't. It's please, being nice. And that's how I felt. I've said it to Ed and Doug and other black belts before of especially when I have a bad roll and I'm just I didn't do that. And it's no, you did good. You did this really well and whatever. And it's honestly, this would just be better if you yell at me. You're being nice and I don't know how to handle it. If you were to just yell at me what I did wrong, I would be able to understand that more of what this is. And so that's my own thing that I gotta work on. But
it's my thing.
But just just the supportive coaching is I think what is best for everyone. So when it's of course I'm gonna do that. But don't do that to me. I need
I need that tough love, but I'm gonna give that love to everybody else. Though.
It's
a weird combination.
I know, right? But that feels really great, and I want to keep that going. That's my goal, is for everyone to always feel supported and we're doing this fun thing. This is not life or death here. What we're training.
I want to tell you, I got a message, and it said, one of the great things about April is that she makes people feel like they're an equal, and it is important, right? It's nice to know that as a white belt, green belt, blue belt, whatever, that you can see somebody that's been doing this for years, that's proficient in a lot of things, to treat you like an equal. That's where I think is why people admire and respect you. So thank you for your time. I can't wait to do this again.
I will add, since you're on that, I know we're running out of time, but I really do think that it comes from the top down. So when Ed and other black belts say hops in and his truly so humble, so nice, whatever, they're not making it up. He literally will talk to anyone. He's super nice. He wants to help everyone. So it's not an out of the ordinary thing for us. It comes from the top. It's just known, that's how you behave, is we help everyone, we're here for everyone. So to not be acting like that, maybe this is not the place for you.
You were taught how to coach from everybody around you.
Yeah. It's just the standard of how it is. So thank you.
You're so dope.
Professor Hobson, all the professors. But that's,
All right, now we're gonna